Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk about all things fandom and we talk about them in a positive way. If that's something that interests you, you've come to the right place and we're so glad to have you here. Welcome to Something Saturday, where we just talk about something random we didn't get a chance to talk about the rest of the week. And boy, have we got something for you today. With the release of more and more horror Christmas movies, it seems like more and more come out every year. I thought we would go back and look at one of the all-time classics, one of the ones that came at a time that caused a bunch of controversy. I'm talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night. So let's jump right into it. Now, the important thing to know about Silent Night, Deadly Night is that at the time of its release, it caused massive controversy. Nobody had ever thought that you would see a killer Santa Claus. And the movie got the backlash for having this as a thing. And now that's become quite the norm, with several movies since then having killer Santa Clauses as the theme. But this was really the first one to do that in a way that caused that much controversy, not just because of what it did, but because it also got a wide release. Apparently, some of the other movies that came before it that tried the same thing weren't as highly anticipated or as highly controversial as this one was. This one actually had content that was more adult to begin with the kid seeing his family get murdered by a Santa Claus, only to then be orphaned, sent to a convent orphanage, and he ends up growing up fearing Christmas most of all. So the entire concept of that as a thing freaked a lot of parents out. They saw this as something horrible that their kids were going to watch and force them not to believe in Santa Claus. Something that would ruin the experience of Christmas for everyone. Of course it didn't. Okay, so one of the earliest things that caused controversy about this movie was the poster itself, showing him coming out of a chimney with an axe in his hand. This was unacceptable at the time. This was the most unacceptable thing. And then it only got worse once they realized what the content actually was. But nowadays, we don't see a lot of controversy over this type of thing. More and more horror Christmas movies come out all the time. And to see Santa Claus holding a weapon, or to see Santa Claus be murderous or homicidal in any way, really doesn't faze us anymore. Just look at the new movie with David Harbour that's out now called Violent Night. Santa Claus in that movie is going to be butchering the bad guys. Now, I plan on doing a review of that movie as soon as I can, but I have not, as of yet, gotten to see the movie to do a review. I've been a little busy this week. Plus, I'm sort of saving that hopefully for our Terrifying Tuesday video. So, if all goes well, that will be then. Now, with Silent Night, Deadly Night coming out in 1984, only a few movies before it had seen murderous Santa Clauses. The earliest incarnations of such appeared in the Tales from the Crypt movie, where a Santa Claus had escaped from an asylum and a woman used this as an excuse to murder her husband. She then, uses the killer Santa Claus as her alibi. Only it doesn't go quite as well as she was hoping it would go. And that's one of the earliest incarnations we saw. But because of the guise of the movie itself being something already completely horrifying in the Tales from the Crypt type of genre, we didn't get to see it cause much controversy. But this movie actually did. It also spawned 5 sequels and a loosely based remake. Now, the loosely based remake didn't really capture the same elements as this one did. In fact, it comes across as a completely different movie, so you might be forgiven if you didn't know it was supposed to be a remake of this one. Now, the thing about this movie is that it also outgrossed A Nightmare on Elm Street upon its release. The Nightmare on Elm Street opened at the same time. Opening up in 1971, 5-year-old Billy Chapman sees his parents murdered by a homicidal Santa Claus who in fact had just robbed a liquor store and shot the clerk. Now, as I stated, he ends up in this orphanage run by a bunch of nuns. And Christmas time becomes one of his most fearful times because of the fact that when they were coming home, when he saw them get murdered, they had just come back from visiting his grandfather, who had some sort of mental illness. The grandfather told him if he didn't fear Christmas, he should. That if he'd been good, he had nothing to worry about. But if he'd been bad, then he better be scared because Santa Claus would come after him and punish him. And punish him, he appeared to do. So, when he grows up and he's getting ready, he turns 18, it's time for him to pretty much be done with the orphanage. The orphanage gets him a job working at a department store around Christmas time. Of course, events unravel that caused the Santa Claus that they had not to be able to appear, and lo and behold, they have the perfect man for the job. So, the store owner, not knowing his history, assigns him to be Santa Claus, telling him, you know what you gotta do. And in fact, that's what he does, exactly what he is told he's supposed to do. And the movie unravels from there with him going on a homicidal rampage, killing those who are naughty. And without giving too much away, it did spawn 5 sequels, so if you haven't seen the movie, check it out. Now, that being said, I do want to talk to you a little bit about something else on this channel. You know, we're going to be doing a lot more Christmas movies this December. We're going to be talking about a lot more of them. If there's any Christmas movies that you want us to talk about, horror or otherwise, definitely let us know in the comments below, because your opinion matters. We want to hear from you. And if I haven't seen a movie that you recommend I watch and do a review of, or at least that I watch, I will go and watch that movie and I'll let you know what I think. But I want to know what you guys think. Have you seen this movie? And if you have, what do you think of it? Do you think that it holds up today in terms of the controversy that it caused at the time? Do you think that it's still one of the more definitive horror Christmas movies? We want to know what you think, so leave us a comment in the comment box below. So leave us that comment. It helps the channel, and we appreciate it. Then also, don't forget to share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of the conversation as well. Make sure you're hitting that like button. It helps the channel, and most importantly, it's free. It don't hurt, don't cost you a thing, but we love it. And then also, friends, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Miko says we need more subscribers, and you don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification button while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. And then yes, friends, guess what? At the end of the day, you know it, I know it, and Miko, of course, always knows it. Fandom is family.